Hey everybody, welcome to the Man Cave. All right, maybe closer to a man closet, but I digress. Who is ready for some upgrades? All right, first, I can't wait to get my hands on this, get in the driver's seat with this Thrustmaster Sparko P310 mod. All right, and to power that bad boy up, we're upgrading with the Thrustmaster T300 servo base. All right, let's get through this. Okay, so what we have here is my initial setup. Well, not my initial setup, but basically this was the first wheel and the pedals that I got down there. Those actually aren't my first pedals. My first pedals that came with this were just basically gas and brake. This has got a clutch on it, although I'm not advanced using the clutch yet because I don't have a gear shifter. But this is the T150 from Thrustmaster, load cell pedals, which simulate real braking. But like I said, I got some new stuff, and it was time to upgrade because I could only get so much out of this setup, and I've enjoyed it. It's been great. It's a great beginner setup, really, for anybody. It's leaps and bounds as far as getting into the just the immersion of sim racing. So you look at the size of this, and doggone it, I meant to bring a tape measure, but you look at the size of this, is what, maybe 10 and a half inches across, I'm guessing. It's all plastic, crappy plastic, and rubber, which is okay, but I wear gloves most of the time for just a better feel, since it doesn't have a really good feel on this. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, and this is gonna go there, but these do not come apart. All right, this is the bottom, I wouldn't say the bottom of the barrel, but this has got the servo motor and the wheel all come together. They're not detachable. This is detachable and will go on the one that I showed you in the other video, and hopefully I'll be able to clip all that crap together. All right, so let's unbox this. I looked at it last night, to be honest with you, but then I put it back. So I was thinking of doing this. So this is what we have. It's really exciting. So this is you saw the Sparko P310 mod steering wheel. You see the box there? Yeah. So it's got the it's actually got the Alcantara. I'm not sure if I said that right, covered on the steering wheel. So this is what we have. Oh, look at this. Look at that. It's beautiful. I have no idea what any of this stuff does yet. I have not read the directions. This is an attachment to any of the stuff that's PlayStation or Xbox compatible, and you set it up, and you probably have to figure out which ones go where. All right, as far as the buttons on the PlayStation, but pretty cool. Now, you saw the size of this. Well, look at the comparison there, the size comparison. I mean, that practically fits inside of that. I'm not sure how well you can see that. Maybe I'll do a short video and zoom in on that, but that's what that is. Comes with the paddle shifters. Awesome. This is Alcantara, I believe is how you pronounce it. I screwed that up. I know I did. I'll let that crap out. Anyway, so great feel. Now, what I've been told watching other videos is when you drive with this, it's a good idea to wear gloves just because the sweat and the oils from your hands will break this down. This isn't super durable like a leather. It's or a rubber. It's got a great feel, but this will break down over time if you don't wear gloves. And a little shout out to SimHound. I've got the gloves. I'll show you those too. Really like those, but I wear gloves pretty much when I drive now anyway. So here we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect, remove all this, probably off camera, and then maybe I'll do a short clip or a time lapse or something of putting the new one on there. This right here, this is the upgrade to this, but it's just the motor. Then obviously the wheel, like I was saying, will attach to that, and it's going to be awesome. But with those of you who haven't seen before, this is my sim rig made by GT Omega, and this is what they call the Titan. So it's got really good, just there's no flex in that thing. It does not move when you're racing. You know, it's light enough, especially on a rug, that I can slide it out of the way, because as you can see, the man cave of the game room is not enormous. All right, you see my likes and things that I'm into. Anyway. Okay, I don't know how the time lapse turned out on that. I don't even know if I'm going to show all this later, to be honest with you. But actually a shout out to Ricmotech for one bolt that this goes onto. The Thrustmasters, all of them in the Thrustmaster ecosystem come with a table or desk clamp. And it wasn't sturdy enough for me when I got it, so through Ricmotech, and I have to take this off, I don't know if you can see it, there's a metal platform that attaches, or it's a bracket rather, or an adapter that attaches to the servo motor itself and then attaches here. So it doesn't move. So actually I may leave this here for right now, and because I'm thinking if it attaches the same way to the same, or to the other servo motor, it'd probably be kind of stupid just removing this and then doing it all over again. But yeah, that's all it took on this. This is by Ricmotech. Found it online. It was like a $30-$35 item, I believe. Excellent for those of you who do not want a table clamp. I never really used it, you know, long enough for it just to annoy the crap out of me, you know, depending on your desk setup. But I had one of the, I had the play seat challenge for a while, which is also a great beginner thing. You know, you can get those on Amazon for right around a couple $100. Might be able to find one used, but they're great for small spaces, for beginners. They fold up, throw them in the corner. Outstanding if you're like in a studio apartment or something like that, and you don't have the money to do something like this yet. Way better than having a crappy chair and a you know, a small table or something like that. To me, it was just easier to get in and out of, and well, they're not easier to get in and out of, but you definitely feel like you're in the driver's seat more than if you're, you know, sitting at a desk or whatever. But you know, maybe it's okay for the PC guys. Me, I'm sitting in front of the TV. So until I got that small setup, there wasn't any place to put the pedals. Everything was pushed away from me. I just couldn't get comfortable enough to concentrate and focus on the driving itself. So anyway, so Ricmotech. All right, it's just gonna be a quick unboxing. May use it, may not. We'll see how it goes. So hopefully you can see all right here. See what we got. So yeah, the T150 came with the same table clamp. So this isn't even going to come out. Put it away, don't need it. All right, so hopefully we can get this out of the box. Here's the brand new cables. Packed pretty well. I got this, whoops. My wife had already pulled this out of the package that I got when it was shipped. But this is actually, we can do a side-by-side comparison here. This is the whole unit I had before. And this is the new one. So if you look at just in sheer size, this is beefier. Yeah, definitely got more weight to it. It's harder to hold because I got it from underneath, and it feels like there's more weight even with this, with the steering wheel. So out with the old, in with the new. And this is what we got. So onto installation mode. Hopefully this will go right on the Ricmotech. It's got the same screw and bolt hole. It should fit. So if everything's the same, bam, it should be right on there, and the setup should be quite simple. Okay, so Ricmotech adapter does not work on the T300. Looks like it's just for the 150, maybe something similar. The plastic broke there, or it got torqued a little bit. Yeah, but this mounted to this just perfectly. And so probably just sell this. Whoops, coming off. Probably just sell this with the old unit whenever I decide to do with it. So anyway, so there's that. But what you can see here, like this. So I need to put screws back on it, but this just mounts. Came with screws underneath. All right, guys, complete, all assembled, and it is beautiful. That is a pretty steering wheel. Doesn't that look great? Yeah, I wanted to do a side-by-side with the T150, but got ahead of myself and already packed it back in that box, and I don't feel like pulling it back out. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I ran into a couple speed bumps that threw me off, and those two things were, one, I thought that it said that in order for that steering wheel to work properly, the buttons, that you need to make sure that you had the firmware downloaded. And I was having problems with my laptop and couldn't get to the download that firmware. So I was concerned about that. But once I got it all together, the other issue I had was with my pedals, and that was only because, and that took me a while to figure out, was that the mode button was on, the green light was on, and what it did is it reversed my gas and my clutch. So just a little heads up, make sure, if at least you're on a PS4 like me, make sure that mode button is red, okay? And then this is self-explanatory, PS3, PS4, okay? All right, the only other thing that I would note out that I really like about this steering wheel, other than just the sheer quality and the look of it, is this little deal right here. All right, this little joystick, look at that. It's got audible clicks, and it's your directional button, just like what you'd have on your controller, is what that is. So it does everything. It goes in all directions diagonally, and it even pushes in. The problem I had on the T150, and I think it was even more pronounced because the steering wheel was so small, but the D-pad was kind of right in here. And especially if you're wearing, sometimes I would not wear a glove specifically on my left hand because I couldn't feel exactly where that D-pad was, and if I needed to make an adjustment to the left or the right or up and down, I couldn't feel it properly with the glove. There just wasn't enough tactile, the dexterity in that glove. It was too small. I needed something more pronounced. As you can see here, it's right there where it needs to be, and that's great. So we'll do another video after I take it for a drive, and give you some final thoughts. And here we go. These shift paddles are so much nicer. They're smoother. They don't click as hard. It's not as noisy and don't feel quite as mechanical. I can get around this track pretty quick. I've had a lot of success here, depending on the type of car. This is just arcade mode here, so it's not really just more or less a time trial. I'm sure I can get faster and faster. Yes, definitely feels foreign. Just the width of the steering wheel. But before long, it's going to feel completely normal. Now this is a replica, so I believe it's the same size, but it's a little bit probably smaller steering wheel because it's made for really for race cars, not everyday. Come on. It's made for race cars, basically. Not everyday driving machines off the walls. We call this the chicane of death through there. And I can definitely get through there quicker. But so far, feels good. I'm really impressed with how smooth this is. Now I can still tinker with the force feedback settings and the sensitive settings. They're right where I had it on the last steering wheel, because I didn't want it too sensitive and I didn't want the force feedback way too strong. Because when you rack this thing, it'll come right out of your hands. But yeah, I mean just the turning degrees on this just feels so much more normal rather. So this is my second lap here. See if I'm any quicker. Yep. See, I just got a faster section there. Not one of my better corners. I'm trying to learn how to have some speed through there. No, same spot. All right, well that's it. That is it. We'll just pause it. Okay, I didn't want to get repetitive. I didn't want you to have to stare at the wheel the whole time, although that may be better at staring at me the whole time. But I would say fantastic buy. Just first impressions, fantastic buy. Just the build and quality of the wheel alone. If you're gonna upgrade from, just for the sake of argument, if you're in that T150, and I'm not knocking that. It served its purpose, and I got a lot of hours in on that thing, you know. But for me, I was just ready to get into something a little bit nicer, maybe something with a little bit better, motor, something smoother, quieter, and I think also what you're getting with this upgrade in the motor is, the sensitivity. Now, all those little things you're looking for, but it's not top of the line. That's what's so nice about this unit. Is it's really affordable, especially on a budget. So in retrospect, if I were to start from scratch on a wheel, and I have nothing left, I've got nothing to compare this to except what I've used, but knowing what I know now, I would, and of course being in the Thrustmaster ecosystem, I would start with this unit. Not necessarily the steering wheel, but definitely this with the whole, pedal set. And then you can upgrade from there. That's what's so nice about this, being able to remove the steering wheel and have, stuff like this. But for me, it made more sense since I'd already upgraded the pedals. I didn't want to buy a whole box set and have stuff that I didn't use. So I was just able to buy the servo motor that they sell separately and then pick my steering wheel based on my needs, and then it gives you the flexibility later. So, without rambling on too much, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If this does well, maybe I'll do more. But this is really for, I'd say this goes out to the people like me that don't want to spend a ton of money. They love this. It's a good hobby. It's kind of a good place to start. All right, guys, so some final thoughts. I'll try and keep this brief. First and foremost, the build, if you want to call it that, or the upgrade, rather, went pretty smooth, had a few hiccups, but if any of you have done this before, you're not going to have any issues. And I would say most you younger people out there are probably more technologically savvy, bigger nerds than me when it comes to gaming systems and equipment and that type of thing. So, but you know, this is a great upgrade, but it's also a good, affordable first-time rig. Okay, so and I believe that I spoke about that before. So it's kind of up to you, though. You know, if you are starting simulation racing, let's say you just want to jump from the, you know, your analog controller up to a wheel, then yeah, there are cheaper options. You get what you pay for, but they'll give you an idea of whether you're going to like it or not, you know. And I almost guarantee you, if you really like racing and you're ready for a wheel, once you start, you probably won't go back. It's something that you really, really enjoy, and I do. So once I got started, that was just like I needed the next thing. I needed to get better, and that's what it was, because you get out there and you challenge yourself is what you end up doing, you know. And it's not just the competition. Sometimes it's the time trials, you know, that type of thing. You're trying to get faster and faster, and you know, and the community goes without saying. And I'll talk more about that. But yeah, I love this. Love the build. Love the quality. Now remember, this was just kind of a short leveling up kind of video. All right, I haven't put many hours on this yet since the build, and so it's going to take some getting used to. But with that in mind, you know, I can't tell you about all the little idiosyncrasies with this system, you know, other than just my initial impressions. So we'll just stop it right there. But next, I'd like to thank the distributors or the businesses on who I purchased my gear from. Okay, because I'm like most of you, you know, I'm not a big YouTuber that gets all this stuff to test out, so I had to buy it myself. So first and foremost, Thrustmaster, because it was the first gear that I ever got. That's where I got started. I got to thank PlayStation, because that's the platform that I play on. I'm not sure who makes the Play Seat Challenge. It might be by PlayStation, but whoever makes that, out to you. And then when I upgraded, of course, I gotta get a big shout out to GT Omega for the rim, or for the rig. I've been thrilled with that. And they've got some cheaper options as opposed to this too. This is kind of your not the very bottom tier, but maybe the next level up. So it has very little flex. And if you guys research that stuff, you know, it's just, and there's so many companies. So get what's right for you, and just remember that you're typically going to get what you pay for, right? Okay. Next would be, I guess I'd have to get out a big shout out to SimHound. Okay. I know they've come out with more stuff, but I saw a review on their racing gloves, and I thought right away, those are cool. I need to get some of those. I mean, look at the logo on those. It's like one of the coolest logos I've ever seen. So big shout out to these guys. They are in the UK. It took a little bit for shipping to the US anyway, but they're well worth it. I was a little worried about the sizing on it because I saw the review. kind of after I had ordered them. And my understanding is you want to measure your hands because they tend to run, the sizes run a little small. Now I typically wear a large, so I just went with the large, so I was a little worried, but when I got them, I mean, if they were any smaller, they would be too small, but they're practically perfect. I mean, they're I mean, look at these things. I mean, they literally fit like a glove, okay? And what I like about these is that there's hardly any material here in the tips. So you are gonna get that tactile sensitivity, all right? You don't have extra material sticking out. Well, you know, long term, we'll see if they hold up, but you know, it wasn't, it didn't break the bank either. So check these out. They're really well priced, you know. But yeah, Sim Hound, and they are on the interweb, okay? And I think that is about it. All right, okay, moving on. All right, so keep racing. Enjoy the community because it does have a lot to offer. And I'm not talking about just videos, YouTube videos, but if you get online and you get into these lobbies and these races, it's a great community. There's tons to offer, tons to learn from, and you know, and just keep pushing yourself, but most of all, have fun. All right, thanks.